Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Pharmacies are preparing to receive many more doses of the COVID vaccine, but you may be surprised which ones in Michigan are not yet on that list.
And the feds keep rounding up people they believe took part in the attack on the U.S. Capitol. The latest to face charges is a man from Macomb County. James Mells of Shelby Township today became the third person from Michigan charged in connection to the Capitol riot.
Investigators are basing some of their case on what they found on Mel's own phone, in addition to photos that show him among the mob storming the Capitol back on January 6th. Grant Herms listened in on his court hearing today. He's got more about what he had to say about the charges. Grant?
Well, he did not have a lot to say to the court today, but he did tell investigators that he found a group of like-minded people on a radical online forum, went to D.C. with them, and then took pictures of himself inside the Capitol and then handed those over to investigators. In federal court today, 56-year-old James Mells charged for his alleged role in the January attack on the Capitol. According to court documents, the FBI was sent a tip that Mells was inside the Capitol building. In an interview with the FBI, Mells telling investigators he entered the Capitol to speak with an officer and gave them a copy of the Constitution to, quote, have his voice heard. After searching his phone, they found several photos from inside. One, a selfie of Mells, who said he traveled to D.C. for the rally with 11 others after meeting online through forums spreading the lie that the election was stolen and included language common to election conspiracy. He said he was led inside the Capitol by a friend. Mells is charged with knowingly entering a restricted building, violent entry, and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. This isn't the first time Mells has been accused of political violence either. In 2016, Mells posted a now deleted picture of former President Obama hanging from a noose with the caption, "Let's get to work on these traitors." With today's hearing, Mells becomes the third Michigander charged in the insurrection. 40-year-old Carl Dresch of Calumet, also charged with violent entry, posted on social media from inside the Capitol as well. Dresch was denied bond. The third man, 30-year-old Michael Foy, was also charged. Police body cam video capturing the former Marine repeatedly beating a Capitol police officer with a hockey stick. He was also denied bond. Now, Mells is waiting to potentially be transferred to Washington, D.C. for a portion of his trial, like many others charged in the Capitol riot. He was released on a $10,000 bond and will be allowed to live with his wife in Shelby Township. Back to you.
All right, Grant.
House impeachment managers have finished making their case that President Trump incited the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. For a second day, Michigan played a large role during testimony. Democrats say the spring protest at Michigan's Capitol was a preview of what was to come at the U.S. Capitol.
This Trump-inspired mob may indeed look familiar to you. Confederate battle flags, MAGA hats, weapons, camo army gear, just like the insurrectionists who showed up and invaded this chamber on January 6th. The siege of the Michigan State House was effectively a state-level dress rehearsal for the siege of the U.S. Capitol that Trump incited on January 6th.
Impeachment managers showed the former president's tweet to, quote, liberate Michigan, and they went through the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer. Later, they played a clip of Congressman Dan Kildee describing the moment he called his wife to say goodbye as he hid from the rioters.
And I called my wife, and, it wasn't until I heard her voice that I thought, wow, this is like one of those calls you hear about.
The Trump legal team begins its defense tomorrow. They'll argue the former president was exercising free speech and never explicitly called for violence.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus and a slight uptick in new cases. State reporting nearly 1,300 new cases and 75 additional deaths over the last 24 hours. That includes 55 from a review of vital records. President Biden today announced a deal's been made to purchase 200 million more doses of the COVID vaccines, saying there are now enough doses to vaccinate all Americans. Meantime, City of Detroit has opened vaccine eligibility to people who have documented intellectual or developmental disabilities, as well as home health care workers who live in the City of Detroit.
Doctors' offices, the TCF Center, supermarkets, the question of where to get the COVID vaccine can be as confusing as how to get it.
But a real game changer could be when standalone pharmacies start getting significant amounts of the vaccine. And that's something the Biden administration says is coming. Sean Lay has a look at where those doses are headed.
Now, the headline here is that more pharmacies here in Michigan are getting involved in getting vaccines to people. However, you will likely not hear your favorite corner pharmacy be mentioned on this list right now.
We're trying to figure out how do we use the very limited doses we get from the state to target these seniors.
Macomb County now partnering with Meijer, using 2,000 of the doses the county gets from the state each week. And Meijer has agreed to help get those doses to Macomb seniors so they don't have to compete for appointments with others online. This is a big shift to help in this battle to get vaccine access to more people, especially our seniors. What has also changed starting today, the Biden administration now planning to ship vaccines directly to pharmacies, starting with 10.5 million doses. Meijer here in Metro Detroit has been getting shots into arms for the last several weeks. Next, Rite Aid here in Michigan, along with LeaderNet and Medicine Shop, are receiving vaccine and are starting to make appointments and get people in starting as early as today. The federal government, they're the ones deciding which pharmacies to use state by state. And if your favorite corner pharmacy hasn't been mentioned, it is not yet being used to give out vaccine. So we're talking about CVS and Walgreens. We want to make this clear to you. CVS and Walgreens were not selected by the feds for this initial pharmacy vaccine stage, but we know the situation changes from week to week. We're on top of it. We'll let you know when it changes. Sean Lay, Local 4.
Okay, Sean. Governor Whitmer is asking the state legislature for $5.5 billion to battle COVID. The House and Senate have offered significantly less, wanting more oversight over the governor's spending. Local 4's Rod Maloney is live tonight with an example of why that is. Rod.
Well, you know, back in December, the legislature approved millions of dollars for the governor. And so since then, they've asked the state budget office to give them an accounting to where the money went. It turns out that there's about $50 million just sitting unspent in the bank while the governor is asking for millions more. We've heard the governor say repeatedly
the legislature would pass that Michigan COVID recovery plan.
The House Republican floor leader Ben Frederick says, hold on.
We don't want to give a blank check here.
He believes the governor's COVID responses come with a very high cost, $150 million in unemployment fraud, and now roughly $50 million the legislature approved for COVID spending last December, sitting unspent. Numbers coming from a budget office report to the legislature showing there remains $40 million for local governments and health departments, $4 million roughly meant for healthcare organizations still in the bank, along with $7 million with no listed purpose.
I would say that there's an absolute need for oversight. And I would say the governor has failed to meet the charge of a lot of this funding that was sent forward in good faith up to this point.
Local 4 asked the budget office about this and in a statement said, quote, there is $40 million in the pipeline for release to local public health departments. Grant agreements have been released. Local health departments may need to take some actions to accept the funding, but money should be very close to being released, end quote. Not good enough, says Frederick.
We will not hold up the vaccination of Michigan residents, but we will seek to ensure that that system is sound, that it's measurable, that it honors the partners that are on the front lines actually delivering the service.
And so now what? Well, let's see. The House is about $1 billion more in terms of the budget that the Senate wants, is supplemental. The governor wants another $1.5 billion more than what the House wants. So we're going to be spending a lot of time watching them try and reconcile just the legislative portion of this, and then they have to go to work with the governor. It is going to be a busy spring. Reporting live in West Bloomfield, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Indeed. Okay, Rod, thank you.
Now, Governor Whitmer revealed today the details of her proposed budget for the next fiscal year. Total proposal is $67.1 billion. It would draw down the Michigan General Fund by $11.5 billion and the School Aid Fund by $14.7 billion, so almost $15 billion there. She's proposing more than $200 million for K-12 education, pushing per pupil funding above $8,000. For one-time spending, about $450 million would go to academic recovery and to stabilizing school district budgets. On the roads, the governor wants $300 million for bridge repairs, and finally about $175 million would go to cities to help stabilize their budgets and bolster local COVID response.
Well, February is Heart Month, and doctors are concerned about an uptick in heart disease in adults under the age of 55, especially women. Just over a year ago, the mother you're about to meet woke up feeling just a little bit off. She had no idea she was suffering a life-threatening emergency.
I just felt dizzy. I felt drunk. I didn't really think anything of it. And it wasn't until I called my husband that he noticed the slur in my voice.
By the time Yesenia Berbiar got to the hospital, she couldn't smile or speak. Yesenia was having a stroke, but doctors ultimately discovered it was caused by an undiagnosed heart condition that Yesenia was born with.
I never in a million years would have imagined that it was going to happen to me.
This Heart Month, doctors are reminding everyone that heart trouble can strike at any age. There is heightened concern about an increasing risk in women under the age of 55. Experts say increased stress is a possible cause. Symptoms for women can be different: shortness of breath, jaw or back pain, or in Yesenia's case, weakness on one side of the body.
These symptoms are what we say call 911 the second this starts happening.
Experts worry both women and men are less likely to get checked out right now. A recent survey finds 32% of Americans and 53% of heart disease patients have ignored at least one troubling symptom because of the pandemic.
Please go to the doctor and get checked. And if you have symptoms, don't hold out. Go to the emergency room and take care of yourself.
Yesenia is glad she did.
I'm feeling great now.
Yesenia says she initially resisted calling 911. It's a mistake she doesn't want other women to make. You can learn much more about ways to protect your heart on the Good Health page of our website, clickondetroit.com.
We're expecting a little more snow, but a lot more cold. Here's Ben.
And more snow after that, and after that, and after that. They're lined up, ready to move into southeast Michigan, and we'll look at how much to expect next.
Charlie Sifford was the first African-American to make the PGA Tour back in the 60s. Tiger Woods, we know what he's done for the game. And now a young man from the Flint area is hoping to make his mark. I'll have his story coming up.